Together we are but first coffee. Susie's just our host, but what matters most is we are a team. Together we are all safe here, and so are you. Among friends and mods we are safe. We talk about trauma, break down drama of life, death, happy or sad, even mad. We discuss it all here. Together we will thrive, not just survive. We will dry each other's tears, celebrate big or small wins, and chase away the fears. Together we fight cults or fight addictions. If not with experience, with love, and we don't judge. Please understand, this is a safe place to land. Please understand, you're not alone. This is a safe place to land. Together we thrive, not just survive. We will dry each other's tears, celebrate big or small wins, and chase away the fears. Because we are but first coffee, and Susie welcomes us all here. Together we are but first coffee, and Susie.
Hey everyone, look who I got. I got my
Hello.
two favorite guys with me. Well, except for Mark.
I was gonna say we're second and third, maybe.
Maybe you're all equal for different
Oh.
reasons, but you know.
We'll
It is
take it.
good to have you both here. Even though it seems like when we get together, or at least this time that we're all together, we're going to talk kind of about a little bit of a
Heavy
a
stuff.
hard subject, yeah. But it
Yeah.
is also needed, and I do want to be able to go into it with a little bit of lightness, just not so just so it's not so dark, if you know
Yep.
what I mean. Just I want to kind of
Agreed.
keep it, light, and I mean as light as you can when you're talking about Suicide Prevention Month. So, it's good to see everybody. I see a few people coming in. These weekend shows, they tend to get a lot more on the replay than they do live. I don't know what it is. I guess people are busy, you know.
Well, it is Friday night.
Yeah, really out there having a wild time.
Mhm.
I don't even remember what that feels like. A wild time. I really
Mhm.
don't. I don't know, I was thinking about it a while back because 'cause I've got a friend that, he sings and he's in a
Mhm.
band and all this stuff, and anyway, he's always inviting us out to listen to him sing and everything, and I'm thinking, I don't know if I remember how to party."
Yeah.
I gotta be in bed at 10.
"I'll be in bed at 10, you start when?" "I can watch about 30 minutes, and then I gotta go home."
Mhm.
So how are you all doing tonight?
Pretty good. Just got off a
Good.
long evening of work, but
Yeah?
done for the weekend.
Yes, I know. I see Lord Kiss Freak is in the house.
Mhm.
In the house.
Journey.
Me
The
and
Journey
Harley say
2020.
hello.
Seems like it's been a while since I saw The Journey.
She's
What?
Yeah.
been working pretty hard with her mapping project. It's kind of fascinating to watch.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. So,
Mm.
did, Jan not figure out how to get in the back office? I don't see
I
her back
don't
there.
think so. I think she's
Bless her
gonna
heart. What
nod
we're
for
gonna have to
Carol
do
tonight.
is do it sometime before a show, just like
Yeah, I need to
on a
do like a
random
tutorial
day.
video or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
'Cause I think once she figures it out, she'll be like, "Oh, good grief," which I
It
think
was
she
so
was
easy.
back there, she just couldn't find today's live or something, so,
Mm.
Yeah, she was in there.
yeah, she was in
We'll
there
get her turned
making
around.
project
Mhm.
progress, I can't talk. So, Yeah, I thought I would say hi to the chat. There's not very many people here yet, but I do wanna say hi to them. And
Mhm.
then we're gonna go ahead and get started. I think I have 6 things to pull up on the screen that I think will
Okay.
just kinda help us, guide the conversation that we wanna have.
Mhm.
So, that's just that. I do thank Ben and John for being here. I'm terrible about remembering to say that, so I'm gonna say it now. Thank you in advance
No worries.
for,
Glad
keeping
to
me,
be
kinda in a straight line so that I don't wander off into who knows where.
here.
Always good to see Lord Kiss Freak. I'm wondering where my other mods are at. They're usually here by now.
Slackers.
I know it, and I put up a 6-minute warning. Journey, I would
I
love to interview you sometime and just talk about what all these
Yeah.
projects are, because I know I hear all the time about how busy you are, and we need to get together and talk.
Mhm.
So I absolutely that's the most fun I ever have on this channel is just talking to somebody, just having somebody on and sitting there and talking, and everybody says the same thing. I don't have a big story. I don't have anything to tell, and I'm like, "Well, you're breathing, you know,
Mhm.
that's
We
something to
all have
tell."
a story to
We
tell.
all have some kind of story to tell.
Mhm.
oh my,
Ben has to eat a peanut or 2.
yeah, Lord.
Is that an inside joke, Ben?
Yeah, well, yeah, he used to love to pop on needing a meeting when I'd be on there, and for whatever
Oh.
reason, it turned into this thing where if he
Yeah.
said it, I had to do it, and I don't know why I never
Oh.
said no, but yeah, there were times he had me almost at the edge of throwing up. It's like, okay,
Oh,
I can handle
no.
another one.
Oh,
Those
good
stupid
lord.
tear nuts. I
I
do need to
I can
find a
imagine.
different source for those, but yeah,
The
I,
stuff he could come up with, he is a character.
Mhm.
You'll have to
Johnny or
buy a
Journey.
Scott
Okay.
her box of makeup ready. I'm putting a few more things in it all the time. I got 2 more items in the mail today that I'm gonna send to her, so I'm sending his daughter, Harley, some makeup. So, I
Oh, that's nice.
how I had went through all my makeup and gave a bunch of it to my daughters that, isn't even opened.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I still get makeup because I was like I did some makeup tutorials and stuff a long time ago on, like, Facebook and stuff, and so I still
Oh.
get makeup free sent to me.
Mm.
So,
Oh, okay.
anyway, that's where I get some of the stuff that I get. Not all of it, but some of it.
And I
So
do hear you, Journey. My life is in the exact same spot of so many things. I keep wanting to do a show on influence and do a show on how we're being influenced, do a show on
yeah.
a community that some of us came out of, do a show on, oh my, some paranormal stuff. And I just got all this stuff just, yeah, colliding together, which usually
Yeah.
means nothing gets done. So,
Mhm.
I've really been wanting to do a show on, kind of the survivors of the lifeboat kind of thing, and
yeah.
I just
Mhm.
don't know how to go about it. I haven't figured that out yet, so if anybody has any good ideas, let me know. But I thought
And
it would be fun.
Mhm.
yeah, and I thought about doing one, but every time I start doing an actual
Yeah.
instead of trying to do live shows all the time, I thought I'm actually going to try to make a real concise
Mhm.
recorded video. And as I'm starting to put this thing together, it's like this is getting dark really fast. And it's like I'll just put it aside. And
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah. I keep thinking about, like, trying to get a panel together and just kind of a "how are you now" kind of a
Mhm.
situation, like, "How are you now? Have you landed someplace new? Is there another, community that you have found refuge in? Or, are
mm,
you still kind of scared to try that?" I thought that might be I don't know. I thought it might be
Hmm.
good.
I
Could
have
be.
I am surprised. Oh yes, here we go, tincture. Um, I am surprised that I have run into a couple people. It's so refreshing. You can find so many people in our community, but I mean, trying to find
Mhm.
somebody outside because
Mhm.
a lot of us, like, we know the community that exited that
Mhm.
particular place, and we tend to trust each other, but not outside people
Yeah.
when talking about the same thing. And I have found a couple people that there is a real powerful redemption story,
Cool.
and they don't sugarcoat or play up certain parts of their past. And it's like, okay, this sounds authentic. I mean,
Mhm.
and you can actually, something I
Mhm.
wish I did before, you can actually go online and confirm
Yeah.
a lot of their story. And it's like, wow, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
this is, and it hits you much harder. I mean, when it's not, I don't know, when it's not a performance, it's when it's authentic, it just burns much more true.
Mhm. John, is your mic, uh, what do you call it, muted? It says it is, but I don't know if it is.
Oh, yeah. I just haven't been saying anything.
Oh, okay.
To mute when Ben's talking so he can't hear me breathing.
Oh, well, I wanted to say hi to everybody. It looks like B's here now. I see
Bee's
B.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, Bee.
So it is good to see her also. I haven't been in the
Oh.
mod chat as much the last couple days. I've just been, you know, it's been busy, just really
Mhm.
busy. And my electricity keeps going off and on because we have been having storms. Not anything real bad. I'm used to it going off and on if we have like severe storms, but
Mhm.
these are just like it's raining a little bit, just a little rain, a little rolling thunder, and the
Mhm.
electricity will be off and on. And I'm like, what in the world?
Hmm. That's weird.
Ah. So B's here. Says, what a good looking panel. I'll see how long I'll stay. Yeah. This I'm gonna try to keep it,
Tincture.
I mean
Hey, I got
it
some
is
mods, yeah.
a hard a hard topic, but we're gonna try to do that, without getting too
Mhm.
dark. Lord Kisfreak, I'm glad that she smiled and giggled. I think she'll really like some of the stuff that's in there. Who knows? I don't know what teenagers like anymore. She might be like, "This is old fogey makeup." Well, John disappeared for a minute,
No,
but,
he's probably adjusting his camera,
yeah.
your mirror.
Oh,
Oh,
sounds
maybe there.
yeah.
Is
Okay,
it?
oh, that's right. He's mirrored to us, so he's probably normal to outside, I guess.
No, they said he's mirrored
No,
outside
B
too.
keeps saying I'm mirrored, and I keep unmirroring, but it's still doing
Yeah,
it.
it's
I
showing it
must be
backwards.
locked in.
Is mine too though? So, yeah.
No,
I'm gonna
yours
check.
is straight.
See,
What does it
mine
say?
shows
Tomorrow
me that it's
needs you.
backwards. Yeah. Tomorrow
Oh,
needs
no, it
you.
looks straight to me.
Huh.
I
Yeah,
wonder if that's the problem.
yeah, that shows
B gave him orders.
straight.
Well, B, tell me
But
when it's right,
to
because to me
me,
it
this
looks backwards, but
Hmm.
no, it looks right to me. It
so,
says tomorrow
all right.
needs you. Yeah,
Well,
she said you look
you
good.
get the gist of it. We are trying to Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started if that's okay with everybody. I'm gonna bring the first thing up on the screen and just start this conversation. Um, Number one is it's kind of a comparison on the unaliving rates, and we are talking about men tonight. And I went ahead and checked with the United States and Canada just because that's where the majority of our viewers are. But it does have, fairly comparable he disappeared again. Fairly
Hmm.
comparable rates for the whole world, basically. Um, but I did find this pretty exciting. Oh, yep, he's coming back. So do I need to add him or can he just add himself? There he is.
Add myself.
Okay. So in
There
the
you go.
United States, it says that in 2023, the male suicide rate in the US was 22.8 sorry, not poor, per 100,000. And that's from the National Institute of Mental Health. And that this really got me, this next one, and I've read it before, but it just guts me every time I read it, is that males make up about 80% of suicide deaths in the US, even though they are approximately 50% of the population. And that's from the CDC. And the male rate is nearly 4 times higher than for females. And that's why we are talking specifically about males tonight. Not that we're excluding the females, but since we have such a I mean, we're like 96, 97% female on this channel. And that's a lot of us women that can be paying attention to the men in our lives. And so I thought, if I can get just the people on our channel to pay attention and to spread the word that we need to pay attention, then, that's got to
Hmm.
help a little. So in Canada, the numbers are the men are about 3 times more likely versus 4 times. But that's still pretty close. And that's
Hmm.
to die by suicide than females. Females will often attempt it, but males, very high percentage rate, succeed.
And we talked about that last time because
Yeah.
men have access to more lethal methods
Yes.
than women do,
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And from 1981 to 2017, the age standardized suicide mortality rate among males aged 10 plus and it dropped from 15.0 I cannot read tonight, per 100,000 to 11.4 per 100,000. And in recent years, in 2022, there were 4,000, approximately 4,850 suicide deaths in Canada. That gives an approximate national rate for both sexes in that year. Male specific rates are higher. So, what do y'all think about that? Um, you're
Yes,
male, you know.
well, that was certainly the case way back in the deep dark '80s when I'm studying administration of justice. That was true then as well. I
Mhm.
mean, not the rate wasn't,
Yeah,
but the rough percentage,
yeah,
male female was, and
which
yeah,
shows
and
that
it
it's not changing. That shows that men are still
yeah,
struggling and have been for a while.
yeah.
It's
A large part of it appears to be, at least at that time, and it's probably still the case. I haven't looked up a serious breakdown of that, but it a lot of it appears to be younger females in high school and early college. When they're
Mhm,
males at that point, they're getting more. They're interested in things that are different than females. I'll say it that way.
mhm,
But yeah, that it's just there's a lot of stuff going on for young people at that point, and that is where
yeah,
a lot of females tend to because yeah, it's amped up so
mhm.
high at that age. So the drama and
Yeah,
oh, John, you're muted.
You know what's a good part of that, Ben, is what we didn't have back then in the 70s and
Yes,
80s was the damn internet.
yeah,
yeah,
So cyberbullying is a real big cause of death among teens nowadays, and
oh
mhm,
yeah,
yeah.
it's,
Next
you
week,
know,
we're gonna do a show on, saving our kids, saving our teens
mhm,
from, because it is Suicide Awareness Month, and so or prevention awareness.
mhm,
And, so yeah, that's something else. I was doing some research for next week's show too, and Ben's right on target. The rate for women or for females in high school and college is substantially higher than that as they age. As we age, we
yeah,
tend to I don't know, it we don't I mean, it still happens, but it's kind of the opposite with men.
mhm,
yeah.
It kind of, as you get older, it's like life just piles on. I don't know.
right,
I'm not a man, so I can't speak to it from that position, but,
mhm,
I do have men in my life, and I do see that there's a lot that's put on them, and I think that we as women forget to check in on them. Our
yeah,
girlfriends check on us, even our husbands or, boyfriends or whatever check in on us because we are
mhm,
more emotional. We show it. And so, a lot of times they will see that something's wrong.
mhm,
And but with men, they hold it in tends to be the deal and they don't speak of it. And so that's
yeah,
why I want as women, I want us to be paying more attention, but also as men, I want you to be paying more attention to each other too, because
Yeah.
I just think that there has to be, we've talked about this before, John, but I think that there has to be something about the camaraderie between men, that if a man is like, "I gotcha, you can come talk to me. I gotcha.
Hmm.
This is not you're not weird. I don't think you're weak. I don't think you're, all this." I think that we cannot take away from the importance of that. I think that it's
Well,
very important for it to be normalized for men to talk to men.
exactly. And it's something that Ben and I have talked about a couple of
Mhm.
times previously on this
Yeah.
channel and on others, is that, and we have reached out to each other and made that vow to each other
Yeah,
that, look, if you're ever having a tough time, I'm always here for you and I'll never
absolutely.
judge you. And, it's like,
Mm,
I know we're having
yes.
problems with my screen or whatever, but I have a shirt
No,
on
you're
tonight
fine.
that says, I have time to listen.
Yeah.
Mm,
Your life matters. And, that's, we talked about it, like the whole barbershop mentality where, that's a safe space for men where they can talk
Mhm.
about anything, but they don't talk about their feelings.
mm,
Mhm.
And, I think we need to destigmatize that
I
and
do
get more and
too.
more men talking about how they feel.
Mhm. That is something that we women have. We can share with each other about our feelings, and we share with the men in our lives about our feelings, and I have over the last just literally, 2, 3 years, maybe even a little more, but especially in the last 2 or 3 years, I have really just it's become so clear to me that men don't talk to each other or talk to their wives or girlfriends or whatever about their mental health. Men are fixers so much of the time. They want to fix everything, but who fixes you? Who fixes them? And so, I don't know. Oh, you're muted again, John. I don't know why it keeps muting you.
It's like self-muting it for some reason.
Yeah, it's so weird.
I think that that's one of the reasons why you see a higher instance of it in men as we get older.
Mhm.
mm,
I think part of it is, and I can only speak for our generation, but our generation, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have
yeah.
cyberbullying, we didn't have things like that. So the most you'd have is, maybe somebody was bullying you at school or something.
Mhm.
And most guys are young enough that they just kind of, get past that. And but it's as we get older and as we get
Mhm.
married and we have kids and we, all these new responsibilities come
Mhm.
along, there's a lot more that goes along with that emotionally, and we bottle that up and bottle it
Mhm.
up and bottle it up until
I
it gets to a
agree.
point where we just blow. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You also, with males, you tend to have a little bit of isolation, and that's a strong term, but you start in high school, at least with, well, I guess with females too. It tends to be more about tribe, and guys
Mhm.
always have a large
Oh,
group of
yeah.
friends they could watch football with or do whatever with.
Mhm.
And as you start progressing in age,
Mhm.
a lot of your friends move, get
Mhm.
married,
Yeah, that's
whatever,
true. Your
and you
circle
start,
gets smaller.
yeah, gets
Mhm.
smaller and smaller. And that was
Mhm.
one thing. And I, well, yeah, and I think it's fairly safe to go with. I was looking at a lot of data on this, and there's a lot of data rolling in around in my head. But I think I'll just stick with some very popular sources on this, and even
Mhm.
the NIH talk about the importance of that. There's a study that suggests that, or multiple studies that suggests that asking somebody if they're thinking about unaliving themselves does not in itself increase that behavior.
Yes.
That it's
Right.
basically, and another one, acknowledge and talking to them openly about it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It's not this thing that we fear, like, oh my gosh, I better not say something, else
Yeah.
I'll plant the idea.
It's taboo that you're thinking if
Yeah,
you talk about it, you're planting the seed. Yeah,
yeah. And
I
Yeah.
agree with
oftentimes,
that.
according to these couple of studies here that I have managed to pull up on it, it seems that one of these things where, as you talk about it, a lot of trauma, and this is true for both sexes,
Mhm.
it's true for people. there is a lot of trauma we go through where it loses its power. Some trauma just
Yeah.
wants to be heard.
Hmm.
And as we talk about it, we get a little bit of a release from it. And that would seem to be the case, at least from the studies the NIH points to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in other words, the exact opposite is true.
I'm
But
not gonna
then,
mention any names on this just because it's not my stories to tell, but I wanna just touch on, we were talking before we got started here about other, communities that a lot of us have come from,
mhm,
and I am absolutely shocked at the number of people, both male and female, who have actually come to me privately. And, not in the chat, I'm talking about,
mm,
on Messenger or email or, privately,
oh,
and talk to me about how they contemplated unaliving themselves
mhm,
whenever they left either or both of those other communities, and that is so scary to me that
Yeah.
yeah,
these parasocial, and I'm with Keela, I hate that word too, but I have yet to
she
come up with
does.
a different one that's better. So,
She really
I'll
hates it
come up
whenever
with
I say
one.
it.
Yes. We're gonna find one, we're gonna invent one, we're gonna do
Well,
something, but it
and
it is.
Susie, I think part of the reason why the two of you don't like the word is because the relationships that we have on the internet,
Mhm.
at least among our group,
Yeah,
are so strong.
yeah,
I would say that my
it doesn't
friendships
fit.
with many of you are stronger than relationships I have in real life.
Me
Mhm.
too,
So
me too.
so you guys feel like we're minimizing the
Yeah,
relationship by using that term,
yeah.
and it's just until we come up with a better one.
We need to find
That's
one
the
that's at least good for our
yeah.
communities, because we have so much of the same community,
Um,
her channel
Hmm.
and our channel does, so
Yeah.
and
I
Well,
we share subs
it's
and everything, so
hmm
and tribe is really important. I mean,
yeah,
it's not important just for male, important for females
I
as
think
well. I
so
mean,
too.
if you look
Absolutely.
at I keep telling myself I won't mention it, but you look at Maslow's pyramid, you have
The
your
hierarchy of
basic
needs.
safety needs.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm mentioning it again. But yeah, as you
No, go
go up,
ahead.
you have the psychological needs, and then you have the need for it's basically tribe, and then the
Yeah,
next layer up from
Hmm.
that is how you within that tribe, how you the esteem, how you differentiate
yeah,
yourself from within that group.
Hmm.
Um,
I agree.
and losing that piece, it yeah, it takes you down.
Yeah,
And
I was
yeah,
really
especially with all the
shocked
emotion. Yeah.
'cause, I mean, in the whole, aftermath of that situation, I was oh, my word I use for everything seems to be gutted. I was gutted by it. I felt like somebody had literally kicked me in the
Yeah.
stomach,
Hmm.
but that I didn't realize how much it affected how strongly it affected other people, and I'm not just meaning
Oh
to harp
yeah.
on those other communities, but if it's happening with that situation, it's happening all over, and
Hmm.
that's my point is I just have personal information from people,
Yeah.
concerning those
Yeah.
communities. I'm not trying to harp on those communities, is what I'm saying,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
I don't have contact with people from all these other situations.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, yeah, it is so scary to me, and I tell you what, the women are the more vocal about it. They're also very embarrassed and, some of them don't want to speak at all, but
Hmm.
the
Mhm.
men are like, "Don't tell anybody I told you this," but, "I agree with what you said, I felt like this," or their
Mhm.
wife comes to me and says, "We fought this with so and so," that kind of a thing. Because it's
Hmm.
amazing too how many spouse units have been on those channels together.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of
Hmm.
husband and wife that are on those channels or were, I don't know about now,
Hmm. Yeah.
but were, still are some, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But yeah, those I think I think of those as the parasocial relationships, not us, of course. But I think that you're
Right.
right, John. I think that that's why Keela and I hate it is because we don't feel like the term fits our communities.
Yeah, it minimizes those relationships in a
Yeah.
way, and
Mhm.
they shouldn't be. I
Well,
agree with that.
there's a thing too. I mean, you think about other groups that you may be subscribed to. I mean, for
Mhm.
myself, there's a couple gamers I
Mhm.
subscribe to, and they do stuff I'm not really interested in. But again, it's the
Yeah.
community.
Mhm.
However, if those
Yeah.
groups were to suddenly disappear, and this is not okay, yeah,
No. Yeah.
we have all grown some. But the thing is, when you look at other communities, these communities could disappear, and yeah, it's like okay, I miss
Yeah.
that group, but it
Yeah.
wouldn't be as gut wrenching. But
Yes.
the reason for that is you have a lot of influence going on in groups like
Yeah.
that. You have your focus, authority, tribe, and emotion. You have tribe, and certainly you have a lot of emotion because that
Absolutely.
is what groups like that feed off of, and
Mhm.
that's two out of the main four, and then you usually have an authority figure. I mean, because that's the way groups like that tend to
Mhm.
run. A real strong authoritarian, I
Mhm.
hate to use that term, but
Yeah, I know what you
a
mean, though.
real strong figure, and we're so special. You have this novelty going on that, whoa, but we're a special group.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you look at most communities on the web, there's none of that. I mean, you can
Yeah.
talk about any group you want to, true crime or whatever. You look at the chats, there's not that
Yeah.
to certainly not to that extent, but a lot of them
Mhm.
don't even feature that us versus them mentality
Yeah.
at all.
Mhm.
That's completely gone. And
Right.
you
Which a
certainly
lot
don't.
of that, where you
Yeah.
have the higher, like, authoritarian type thing can almost be culty.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
then whenever you, have, a division of that group, then that's where people get into trouble and you have these,
Mhm.
thoughts of unaliving themselves can come in just because of how that person that they've looked up to and, you know, and looked for almost a spiritual type growth,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that, then this person turns out to be something that they're not, and then that can,
It's
and I
devastating. Yeah.
yeah, and I think that men, I don't know, and like I said, I'm not a professional. This is just stuff that I've thought about, through a while on this channel and watching how things have happened. But,
Mhm.
I don't know, a lot of men are very dependent on those quote unquote parasocial relationships because their friends circle on the outside and their, quote unquote real life has dwindled
Yeah.
so much. I think men's
Mm.
circles, true life circles have dwindled more than women's have on the
Mhm.
outside. And
Yeah, and
I
I
don't
think
know
that's
why.
why you'll find that men hold those parasocial relationships more deeply
Yeah.
because they're safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I can speak my truth to someone
Yeah.
who I can't look at,
Yeah.
and I can't see if they're judging me or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
I
more
get that.
open to just letting it all out and
Mhm.
saying, well, if you have a problem with it, then you just leave my life. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's not a
Oh,
big
well.
deal. Whereas if it's somebody that you have to, face to face with in real life,
Mhm.
that's a much tougher pill to swallow. And you're going to get
Mhm.
instant feedback from
Oh,
seeing
yeah.
them, from looking at their face, whether they're judging you or not.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think parasocial relationships, especially among men, tend to have more
I
value than they do in the
Yeah,
real world.
and I think that because they have more value, they can also be very, like, I don't mean dangerous so much, but kinda,
Yeah.
like, I
Yeah.
I can't quite come up with the word that I would use instead of dangerous, but,
Hmm.
I
No,
think
I
that they
think I
can.
understand what you're saying, though.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
wanted to bring this one up too. This one is just ways to support, you know?
Hmm.
Hmm.
John, I'll let you read some of that if you want, or Ben, either one of you actually.
Yeah. And this is John. You're muted again. And this is complete. This is the same conversation you can see on multiple. They use
Mhm.
different words, but you can see the same thing mirrored over and over again.
Hmm.
Ask or start the conversation.
Yes.
listen
Don't
without
wait for
fixing.
them.
Basically, yeah, don't judge. You just
Mhm.
give them somebody to,
Yeah.
dump on, because sometimes there's some things going on in people's lives, and like I said before, a lot of trauma just needs to be heard.
Yeah.
And bottling
Sometimes they're
this stuff,
looking for someone to
yeah.
ask. Yeah.
And when you bottle this stuff up, you tend to put yourself in a position where you're intentionally not being heard, and that goes against a lot of
Mhm.
biological programming that through ancestral DNA, that a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of us, yeah, because our ancestors relied upon tribe. It was very
Yeah.
important. If you weren't part of a tribe, your very existence was in jeopardy. So you're trying to go against what your lower part of your brain is, holds very deeply. And the lower you go in your brain, the more powerful it gets. And if you don't believe me on this, hold your breath until you pass out. The
Yeah.
vast majority of us aren't able to even do that. But then, okay, well, then try to hold your breath until you expire. You can't do it. That lower part of
Yeah.
the brain, you'll make you pass out. I didn't know anybody who could hold their breath till they could pass out, but then you'll start
I know
breathing
one
again.
person, my youngest
Wow.
daughter. She used to hold
Wow.
her breath until she passed out, and I went to the doctor with it, and the doctor said, "Well, when she holds her breath, what happens?" And I said, "She passes out." And she said, "Well, then what does she do?" And I said, "Well, she starts breathing." And she goes, "Very good."
Mhm.
She'll quit.
But yeah, the same list. I mean, the NIH, they
Mhm.
say ask, be there, help
Mhm.
keep them safe, help them connect. And
Yeah.
it's the same format. And the reason why is because they found that this is what works.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It seems like it's almost too simple, and yet
You know,
that's what works, you
well,
know?
yeah, and we're always programmed to think that as well. We tend to think that because our problems are so complex,
Yeah.
the solution must be incredibly complex.
Yeah.
And oftentimes the solution to our problems can even go back to real simple things we learned
Mhm.
in kindergarten.
Yeah.
Don't be a jerk. Get your exercise.
Yeah.
Be nice to
Drink
people.
your water.
Really simple. Eat good food. Things like real simple
Isn't
concepts.
isn't there, like, a book that says everything I need to know I learned in kindergarten
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah.
that? There's yeah, yeah. It's true, though.
One of my
This one's
favorite books.
really strong this one's really hard for me, this number 2 that says, "Listen without fixing." I try to
Yeah.
fix everything, and
Yeah.
so I really am having a hard time with the just shut up and listen kind of thing. So, I don't know.
And
It
it's really important to use that emphatic listening when
Mhm.
when you don't know, like you were saying before, when when you simply just don't know, just make sure you listen to the person.
Yeah,
Don't listen to respond. Just
yeah. Listen to
listen
hear.
to, yeah.
Listen to hear, to really hear.
Yeah, and that's another thing that's kind of been programmed out of us.
Mhm.
Maybe it's our school system, who knows what, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So, it says number 3 is affirm his worth. Men, they tie self-worth to work, finances, providing, remind him that he matters beyond roles or productivity. I think that is huge. I really do, and I also think that sometimes that it's hard to do, to, to get them to hear you. Like for me to try to get Mark to hear me when I say you're worth more to me than, you know, your health insurance. You're worth more to me than your weekly paycheck. You're worth more to me than, all these things, taking out the trash or, whatever, large or small. I think you're muted again. Poor John.
Yeah, and that is another thing that's really big in our particular
Yeah, I was gonna
society is,
say that's how we're wired. I
yeah,
mean, it
Yeah.
all goes back to that. I mean, we are raised to believe that we are providers and that we are
That goes
the
all the way back to cavemen.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean,
So, I mean, how many men have wives who are more successful than they are
yeah.
or make more money than they do? That's a really tough pill to swallow for a lot of guys. It really
Mhm.
is. And it emasculates them, to be perfectly honest. And it makes them feel like they're not doing their role, you know. And that leads to a lot of mental health issues as well.
Well,
So,
there's a lot of times when you ask people, at least in our culture, you ask people about a guy, tends to be the case more often, but you ask, who is this guy? First thing that'll pop up is he is a road worker, he is a truck driver, he is a it's
Mhm.
profession is the
right.
way we
But it defines
it's
you.
yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it's insidious because we start to identify in that, and that's really shouldn't be our identity.
Yeah,
Identity
but
No.
should
it
be tied to a
is.
job.
But in so many cases, it is.
Mhm. Absolutely. I mean, the first thing that people that I have met, and we'll start talking about Mark or something, and they'll be like, "Oh, and what does he do?" And, I'm immediate like, "Oh, he's a, engineer, blah, blah, blah." And what I really ought to do is I should be like, "Well, he loves baseball and softball, and he
Mm,
whatever." I should start naming stuff that's not his job.
Hmm.
But the first thing that comes to our mind,
yeah.
especially with the men in our lives, are their jobs. And, that's unfortunate. And we need to, start. Where's it going to change if we don't start changing it? It's our generation that's going to have to start. We can't let the ones underneath us do everything. Our kids can't fix everything. We need to fix some things or at
Yeah.
least start fixing them. So I don't know. I like this one too, the encourage professional help. Absolutely. We have got to seriously
Yeah.
destigmatize getting help. It
Yeah. Men need to not be afraid of therapy
I
anymore.
know.
It's so helpful.
And it's so easy. It
I
is
told this
so
story
easy.
until I'm blue in the face, but I was 59 years old when I found therapy.
Wow.
And at this point in my life, I'm like, how did I live all this time without it?
Yeah.
Mm,
Because it's been a godsend. It really has.
Yeah.
It's opened my eyes to so many things.
Mhm.
It really has.
Yeah.
So, guys, therapy is not taboo.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to reach
Doesn't
out.
bite. It's not anything to be embarrassed about. It is just,
Mhm.
you know,
Well, here,
um,
read this at the bottom. It says, frame it like physical health. If
yes,
you broke your leg, you'd see a doctor. Your mind deserves
yeah.
the same care. So, I mean, that's the best way to
absolutely.
look at it.
Absolutely.
So, yeah,
Absolutely.
I think a lot of
I
guys aren't wild about the idea of paying someone to listen to them.
yeah.
Mm,
But you know what, guys? If that's the only thing that you can do to
Yeah.
find somebody that you can talk to,
Mhm.
then do it. Do it.
I agree with that, but at the same time, even if you've got 20 people that you can trust to talk to, I think
Mhm.
sometimes it's good to talk to somebody that is completely uninvolved, that doesn't have skin
They
in the
don't have a
game.
dog in the fight, right,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
that's true.
and
And even
so
if they do judge you, they're a stranger.
yeah,
So you don't have to see that person on the daily like you would a male friend who
mhm,
you spill your guts to, and then he's like, "Whoa," and he distances himself from you or whatever. You're dealing with that on the daily, but with somebody you're paying to listen to you,
mhm.
they're not judging you, and even if they're silently judging you, they're
Who
taking your
cares?
money, and you don't have to see them every day.
It's like they're
So
working
you
for
can, like,
you, dude.
yeah,
They're working for
exactly. They're
you.
working for you, and that's how we need to look at it. Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
agree.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see here. There's a few more of the ways to help, just a couple, 3 more. Um,
All right, Ben, take it over.
Take it over, Ben.
Watch for warning signs. Withdrawal is a big
Mhm,
one. And that's what we were talking about before. Whenever
mhm.
people are going through issues, they tend to isolate themselves. And
Absolutely.
that is where you could really start to spin out, because you're not getting that. When we're in the problem, we don't have the objective point of view, because
Mhm.
by definition, we're listening to our own brains, and
Absolutely.
the lower part of your brain will. I mean, this is where social anxiety comes from. It
Hmm.
tends to be really bad at making predictions,
Mhm.
and it can get really dark really fast
Yeah.
when you have somebody's outside influence on you. It really helps to, like, what this, have you thought about this, have you thought about that, have you thought about, this isn't the end of the world, and this is available. There's a lot of things that we don't know about the problem. There's a lot of things that we can't see about the problem because
Mhm.
and you could think, oh my gosh, no, I'm being so logical about this. I've written it down, but you're still in your own head.
Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
It's really important
Absolutely.
to
That's
get that
kinda like,
outside.
my therapist told me, you know how you'll make, like, a pro and con list?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so, like, I over a certain thing that I was talking about, I had a pro and a con list.
Hmm.
And she said, "Who did you share this with?" And I said, "Nobody. I'm making a pro and con list." And she said, "But you're gonna read those with your" I can't remember what she said, but basically the back of my head,
Yeah.
with my interpretation of these things.
Hmm.
Somebody else is gonna read these and interpret, "Well, this doesn't seem all that important, but this one over here seems pretty damn important. Maybe it should get 3 points instead of this one over here getting 1
Mhm.
point,"
Yeah.
that kind of
It's
a
all
thing.
about
And that
perspective.
was really changing for me too, because I love the whole, I'm a list maker. And so I love the whole idea of making a pro and con list, but the fact that she said that I should actually share it with somebody that I trusted and see how they interpret it,
Hmm.
which, just I don't know. It was a lot. It sounded huge to me when she said
Mm.
it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, it's
So,
very
Yeah.
wise.
That is very
yeah.
wise.
But yeah. So, yeah, if people start giving away their possessions, unless they're me who will give away everything that I own at any moment. So, it does, know your person if they're just somebody that gives away their stuff anyway. But if they're not and they start giving away, especially, things that mean a lot to them,
Yeah.
that kind of thing, that can
Hmm.
be a definite sign. Um, I turn on my fan.
Unless you're moving soon.
Yeah, if you're moving soon, I mean, there are
Several
realistic reasons.
several of us have been trying to trim down and have been giving a lot of things away. So no, I'm okay.
Yeah.
If I try to give you something, it's because I love you.
Yeah. I had a dream the other night. This is completely off topic other than the giving things away or that whole thing. And I
Mhm.
had this dream the other night, I think because it was storming outside. And I dreamed that a tornado was about to hit my house and that I was like, "Go ahead. I don't care." you know? And I thought in the dream I'm thinking, "What is wrong with you?" But when I woke up, I thought, "It's because this stuff doesn't matter to you." You
Mm.
know, it's just things.
Yeah, it's
And
just
so,
stuff.
that but it was weird. It was a
Mm.
weird thing, but that's how I am. I'll give everything. I don't care. If you see something you
Mhm.
want, sure, take it. I don't care. But, I've always been that way with things.
Mhm.
I
Mm.
but memories and people, pictures, photographs, I will guard a photograph with my life. So if I ever
Mhm.
start giving away all my photographs and stuff, then maybe I need some
You need an
intervention,
intervention.
honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's good to know.
Yeah. Anything else you can have, but leave my pictures alone.
I feel very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really liked this one too, ways to help, to promote healthy
Yeah.
outlets like asking them to go for a walk or to
Yeah.
exercise or to do hobbies, that kind of
Yeah.
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah. Now you have a couple things going on. First of all, physical exercise
Mhm.
helps the brain release those feel
Mhm.
good chemicals. And people keep saying, well,
Endorphins
yeah,
and
that's just the
serotonin.
brain. I need something artificial. And it's like that's that's all those chemicals are doing is they're
Yeah.
telling the brain to release the same things. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Yep.
it's not magic. I mean, it's
Mm-mm.
in your head.
Mhm. That's what
Um,
so
Mhm.
many of the drugs are
yeah,
doing is
yeah,
exactly what you can get from other
Yeah.
yeah,
means, healthy means.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And exercise does the same thing, but also when you get into that state, you tend to not want to do things you
Mhm,
enjoy. And oftentimes, doing things you used to enjoy can help pull you out, jumps to,
mhm.
like, I don't feel like doing it. And it's like sometimes as you start doing it, it's like, you know what, I really do like doing this. And it can help lift you
Yeah,
out. I mean, it may not turn
absolutely.
you around completely, but it can certainly help.
Mhm. Absolutely. I agree 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
This
And
makes a lot
they,
of sense. The longer that you sit around
mhm,
inactive, the more time
yeah,
you're in your own head.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
more time you're thinking about how much life
yeah.
sucks and, so you almost
And,
need that as a distraction.
And
and
if
to
you're
be
just in
quite,
your own head, you're losing social ties, which is the
Yeah,
second or the seventh one is to strengthen those social ties. And that can be
true.
either, real what I call real life, like
mhm,
that you can reach out and touch people in
mhm,
your social circles or even parasocial connections because I think at that time any connection is better than no connection and I believe with all my heart that parasocial relationships can well even be, she said that the parasocial relationship saved her life and I
Mhm.
agree. I know of other people that has happened to. If
I can
that's
say the
what
same
you've
thing.
got.
I
Yeah.
can say the same thing. I was in a very dark place
Yeah.
a little over a year
mhm,
ago, and if it wasn't for friends like you and Ben and
Yeah.
Keela, and I don't know where I would be. I really
Absolutely.
don't.
and that's,
Absolutely.
So
and an important thing about going back up to point six,
Mhm.
you think about what you tend to do when you're not out moving or exercising or doing a hobby you enjoy. You're
mhm.
sucking up media in some way, shape, or
Yeah.
form. And
Yep,
a lot of
that's
media
true.
out there. I mean, yeah, one of, I mean, I can even bring up, I'll pick something, I can bring up EA games.
Okay.
That's going to be safe, right? Oh no. EA Games, they developed an AI model just briefly. This model, what it will do is it will start letting you win in soccer or whatever. Mainly
Yeah.
it takes place mainly in sports. But as you
Mhm,
start winning, it will then say, okay, now we're going to pit you against higher
mhm. Higher
Yeah.
tier
people who are
players.
better for, and
Yeah.
what will happen is you start to lose. And it's calculating this
Yeah.
because at least with their soccer program, the way that's run with your all-star teams is you pay money and
Mhm,
you get these cards kind of like Pokemon cards, kind of, I mean, that's the
Mhm.
way to liken it to. You get these certain players. Well, what they do is they figured out, well, if you're getting ready to progress to the next level, it's important to knock you back down to get you to go, oh my gosh, yeah, if I need to do better at this because I'm so close. I'm so close to start blowing money on
Mhm.
these cards or these gift
Oh, yeah.
packs and
mhm.
start getting players. And they know this, and that's
Mhm.
the point. I mean, the mechanism they're using. Okay.
Oh,
But
yeah.
the point is that that's a game company, a
Mhm.
little harmless, little FIFA
Yeah.
But
soccer,
it's
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
psychological brainwashing, it
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
It
And if
really
they're
is.
doing that, how
Mhm.
much more
Mhm.
so is
Well,
social
yeah.
media and all this other
Yeah.
stuff.
Well,
They can
some of the
take you.
times whenever I'm at my lowest, what the first thing is I start doom scrolling
Yeah.
Mm,
and looking at everything that's wrong in the world and everything that's, that agrees with why I'm upset, that
mhm,
Yeah.
just reinforces that I'm right to be upset, and which
mhm.
just makes me more upset. I mean, if it was like,
Yep.
"Okay, you're right, now get over it," that'd be a different thing, but it doesn't. It just
Well,
makes you
Mm.
more upset.
think
No,
about,
yeah.
like, Facebook or
Mhm.
YouTube is even guilty of it. These algorithms, you click on
Mhm.
something, you're in a bad mood, and you click on something that you want
Oh,
to
yeah.
reinforce the way you're feeling. the next thing you know, your entire feed is just full of that.
Absolutely.
So the algorithm is feeding you negativity and making you madder and more
Mhm.
depressed, and so yeah, this is unfortunately that's the society that we live in nowadays, is that no matter how negative the feelings that we're having, social media in some way feeds it and
Mhm.
fans the flames, and that's got to stop too at some
Yeah.
point. It's just
Yeah,
crazy. We
now
got to
outrage generates money, be it in the form of
Yeah.
sure.
clicks, and disliking something is still a plus because it's social engagement. That's the way the
Yep,
algorithm looks at it. Oh, I dislike this.
absolutely.
I'll show them. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
You just like, hey, this video is trending. I'm going to push it more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, how many times have we had this conversation about you know, we get bummed out because we're doing shows about important topics and the
Mhm.
viewership starts to drop, and you're like,
Yeah.
drama sells. How many times have we said that?
Yeah.
Drama sells.
Yeah.
All we got to do is just do a drama one and everybody will come back. And it's like,
Yeah.
at some point you got to look inside yourself and you
Absolutely.
got to say, what kind of a person do I want to be? You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? And for somebody like you, Susie, and I think that's why I've always been so drawn to you, is that, and Keela's the same way. You guys have channels because you want to have connection with people.
Yeah.
You don't have
Absolutely.
channels because you want to be rich, because you want to
No.
have millions of subs. You just want to have a community of like-minded people who are even, let me scratch the like-minded people thing, because we like people who disagree with us too.
Yeah, but I know what you mean.
Um, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I mean, a community of people that don't attack you when they don't
Yeah.
agree with something that you say.
Yeah.
And surrounding yourself with people who just want a safe space to talk and be among friends.
Mhm.
And so many other content creators out there realized a long time ago that drama sells, and the juicier the subject
Yeah.
matter, the more people are gonna, the more eyeballs you're gonna have on it. And it's just, at some point we have to say to ourselves, you know what, enough is enough. I'm
Mhm.
gonna do what makes me happy. And if
You know,
people want to
I
follow,
asked.
yeah, and if people want to follow me, then great. And if they don't,
Yeah.
there's a million other people out there to watch. So
You know, I've asked myself, and I've told you, and my mods, the rest of my mods, there's been several times lately that I've thought about doing a certain kind of show or something, and then I've thought, "Is this who I am?"
right.
Is this
Yeah.
who I am? And I'll tell
Yeah.
you, a lot of what really, really changed it for me was Michaela Rains's death.
Yeah. That shook
When
up
when
a lot
she
of us.
died,
Mm.
it really was life changing for me. And if you look back, my viewership went from, 1,000 people, sometimes 2,000 and more viewing every video, and they weren't all drama. But I'm just, there was
Yeah.
enough drama in there,
Yeah.
that they'd come back just to see, I think. But it dropped from that down to, I get a couple hundred now and I'm happy.
Mhm. Yeah.
But the thing is I'm happy.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not.
It hasn't always been that
I
way though.
Yeah.
No, no.
No, and we all struggle with that. See, the
Yeah.
thing about this is that as human beings, we want to feel accepted. We want
Yes.
people to like us. And as selfish as that may sound, and Ben and I go back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs all the
Mhm.
time because it's very important. We should do a whole show on it, to be
We
honest,
should, we
because
should, we
I
should
think
do
a
one.
lot of people aren't familiar with it. I'm
Yeah.
familiar with it because in my graduate studies for being an HR person, every class talks about Maslow, because
Mhm.
Mhm.
that's, everything goes to the heart of who we are as people, as human beings. What
Mm.
do we need to
Mhm.
feel complete? And one of those things is community. We
Mhm.
need to feel like we're part of a tribe. And if
Yeah,
we're constantly fighting with everybody,
yeah.
that doesn't, I mean, it might be popular, but it doesn't feed the need that we have inside to be liked.
I
And
had to
so,
I had to really come to the realization that I'm not here for the money.
Right.
I'm not here
Mm.
to be famous or
Hmm.
you know, anything like that. And that when I am the happiest, honestly,
Hmm.
is when we do a show that I think is important. And if
Hmm.
we have 50 people that watch it or 500 people that watch it, I feel exactly the same happy.
Yeah.
Of course, I like more people to watch it because I want those people to get that information.
Sure.
But on a personal, gut level for Susie, Susie's just as happy if
Hmm.
I know that we did a good show and that somebody got something out of it. I can have
Yeah.
one person that comes and says, "Thank you for doing this live. I was really thinking about this, or this was really bothering me, or this has really affected me." And I think that that can be just so important, and it's made a life-changing difference in me.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and I believe that it goes back to our topic too, that,
Hmm.
Mm.
we were saying that it can be those little things. It doesn't have to be like, Ben was saying, it doesn't have to be this big, huge thing. We think that
Right.
because our problems feel big and huge, that the solution is big and huge. When
You know,
honestly, most of the time the solution is little and
yeah.
easy,
You
you
know,
know.
our dear friend Misha likes to say all the time that it starts with a pebble, a
Yeah.
tiny little pebble, and you throw it in the water and it makes huge ripples.
Yeah.
People don't understand how important just that one little kindness is
Mhm.
in a person's life. It can turn a person's whole day around.
Mhm.
Mm.
It can change their whole outlook on life around just that one
Mm.
act of kindness.
Mhm.
So, why don't we spend a little bit more time being kind to ourselves and to
Mhm.
others around us and watch those ripples? Just watch them.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, it's real. I've seen it with my own eyes.
I have
So,
too.
yeah.
Yeah,
And we
and
don't know who we're affecting. We don't
Right.
know who is
yeah,
having those suicidal thoughts.
no,
And
Right.
that one little pebble that we
Mhm.
do without even thinking, you know,
Yeah,
yeah.
it can
And
change their life.
that's the
absolutely.
thing is you don't necessarily have to be great at well, what's one of the things that I'm into? De-escalation. You don't
Mhm.
Mhm.
have to be great at de-escalation. You can be brilliant at the basics and just be there for somebody.
I
Just
Mhm.
listening.
just
As
listening, yeah,
yeah, yeah. As we were talking
exactly.
before with the NIH and all those studies we're talking about, that just listening to somebody,
Mhm.
practicing, you know what? I'm just going to set aside my judgment. This person's going through something that maybe I don't understand everything to. So I'm just going to sit
Yeah.
without judgment,
Yeah.
listen to them talk about it, and try
Mhm.
to give them some helpful, some helpful input here and there when needed. But but yeah, for of not trying to judge them like, and so many of our problems come from trying to look at somebody in a hierarchy of saying
Mhm.
I'm better than this person's better than me. The second
Yeah.
you can turn that hierarchy off, it is amazing. You to see, instead of seeing, oh, I'm on so and so show and they're really good at doing this and this and this,
Yeah.
instead just turning that off, just, you know what, this is a person that's really good about talking and they have an
Mhm.
interesting viewpoint. That doesn't make them better, doesn't make me better
Yeah.
than them, but
Yeah.
we're different. And um the second that you can stop, yeah, comparing yourselves, and that's a big thing with social media, a big huge thing with advertisement. The
Oh,
hidden
yeah.
message behind 90% of it is to get it to compare yourselves to others and to convince you that you're not good enough yet until you
Mhm.
buy fill in the blank. You'll be happy after you do this. And
And if you have no way of doing that, either buying this or doing
yeah,
that or whatever, then what's your next move? You know,
yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
times that is the straw that broke the camel's back kind of thing. You know,
Yeah,
it's
and that goes to why people hoard. I mean,
absolutely.
you get a dopamine hit when you order the thing, but it's also all the advertisement, all those messages you've seen. You know,
Mhm.
well, I haven't seen this. Well, chances are you've seen that in advertisement a long time ago or
Oh, yeah.
something like it. And it's like, wow, this will make my life so much better. Um, and the thing is, it affects us all. It's not like I'm not speaking from a position of authority or anything on this.
Yeah. No, I
Uh,
don't understand.
Even my mentor, Chase Hughes, he talks about at one point he studied all this stuff, and he was in after he got out of the military, he fell for a infomercial and bought himself a slap chop because it convinced him that he had to be able to slice up vegetables in a particular way. And he said he got this slap chop and it's never been out of the box. But he keeps the stupid thing around to remind him of
Yeah.
how influence works.
Yeah, absolutely. I did wanna to touch on this at the bottom where it says crisis resources. I think that it's amazing that the US and Canada both have the
Mhm.
988, and I think that some people don't realize that if you dial a 1 after the 988, that that goes to a veterans
Mm,
system, you know, for suicide prevention,
you know,
which is our
and that's
next topic,
yeah, and
actually.
that's the important thing is you know, if you're going through a rough time, tell a friend,
Yes.
tell a
Yes.
family member, tell one of these people, you know what? It's free. You can't beat the price.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can't talk to anybody else, call them.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I I wish that thing was move. I wish I could move that over, but I can't remember what the rate on that is. Hold on. Whoops.
I think it was 42 per
I think it is
100,000.
I think it is 42.
Yeah.
Yeah. In 2020,
So
male veterans had an age-adjusted suicide rate of 42. Yeah. At for every
per
100,000 compared to
100,000.
26 or 29.6 per 100,000 for non-veteran men. That's a 45% higher rate than even just men in the general population. That's pretty scary.
Yeah.
That, and
Well,
sad.
imagine. Well, sure. Imagine what a lot of those guys are exposed to that
Absolutely.
normal men aren't. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it
And
says in
that's
the same year, veterans overall, male and female, had over 6,000 suicides, with over 6,100 of those being male veterans.
Mhm.
So if there was over 6,000 and 6,100, there the vast majority, it sounds like, says that you know, it's male.
Mhm.
Firearms are a major method. 74% of veteran suicides involved a firearm. I just and the thing is I'm not trying to say that women don't mean it when they attempt it, but when
No,
men
of course
attempt
not.
it, they mean it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? There's not any going back when they turn that you know, corner and they're gonna do it, they are going to do it. I mean,
Mhm.
it is terrifying.
Yeah.
There's been you know, one of the scary things is a lot of times you think this is going to do it, and a lot of times it actually doesn't.
I know.
And then you're
Yeah.
going through life without part of your brain. And you talk
Mhm.
about a debilitating, you know, if anything's worse than
Mhm.
death, you know, how's
Yeah.
sitting in the hospital for the rest of your life,
Mhm.
you know, plugged into a machine.
Mhm. I have a friend who actually attempted and with a firearm,
Mhm.
and he was out in the barn. We're out in the country and it's cowboy country, and he was out in the barn because that's where he was the most happy, basically. And that's where he wanted to end it, was where he was happy for some reason. But anyway, so he attempted this. He put the in his mouth and he fired it, and it bounced off of his dental work and out the side of his face, and, I mean, it did some pretty gnarly damage, and he laid there in crazy pain for a long time and had lost so much blood that he couldn't get up and go get help till somebody found him. And, luckily, they got him some serious counseling and stuff, and he's had a rough go of it. He got very addicted to
Mm,
drugs and some other stuff, and but he's finally, kinda coming around, which a lot of that was from residual pain from that attempt,
yeah.
physical pain, and, so, yeah, I think that sometimes there is a fate worse than it actually working. I hate to use
Yeah.
that word, but,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
certainly still to
Yeah.
this day suffers, you know.
I found myself tempted to tell some very ghoulish stories, but I won't.
Yeah, probably not good.
Mhm.
When they say veterans diagnosed with mental health or substance use disorders who had contact with the VHA in the year prior had even higher suicide rates, greater than 56.4 per 100,000, versus veterans without such diagnoses, around 29.6 in the same period.
Yeah,
Hmm. These numbers are astounding to
I
me.
know.
The USVA's 2024 Vet Suicide Prevention Annual Report showed that male veterans' age-adjusted suicide rates increased 1.6% from 2021 to 2022. Non-veteran male adults saw a 1.8% increase in the same period.
Hmm.
And that might not seem like a lot,
Yeah,
but
but it is.
thousands and thousands of people, 1 or
Yeah.
2% can be a ton.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's really scary.
And I also had this one, um, it talks about I thought I had one other one, but I guess I don't. This one
Afghanistan?
talked about
This one? Is
Canada. Whoops. Oh,
that the one you're talking about? Oh, you're talking
yeah,
about
that's the one
Canadian
I was trying to
veterans.
find, but yeah.
This one. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know where the other one's at. I couldn't see it. But yeah, I'll finish this one first.
Okay. So among male Canadian veterans in the regular force, the crude suicide rate for 2020-2022 was about 23 per 100,000 persons per year. In a broader study, veteran suicide mortality study, male Canadian veterans have an age-adjusted suicide rate around 38 per 100,000
Mm.
person years. That represents about 1.4 times higher risk compared to non-veteran Canadian males.
Wow.
So very similar
Yeah.
numbers. Risk is especially elevated for younger male veterans. For example, in Canada, veterans under age 25 had about 2.5 times higher risk compared to non-veterans of the same age.
I wonder if that has to do with what they are seeing. We live in war is so much it's always been terrible. I'm not trying to like say that, that our past wars were not awful,
Right.
but our military and military in general, when I say our, I mean everybody. The
Hmm.
world's military sees some stuff, you know,
Yeah.
um, that I don't know if some of our older military people saw, you know.
Hmm.
I always
Well,
bring up
also,
the deal of my son-in-law that, he went to well, he went like 4 times to different deals of, you know,
for
in,
deployments.
Afghanistan and everything, but
Oh,
the
yeah.
one that got him, honestly, the most as far as with his mental health
Hmm.
was, in Pakistan when they had that huge flood, and
Hmm.
he was there digging up the bodies,
Mm,
and
no.
and this was weeks after,
Oof. Yeah.
you know, and I don't know that people in even our generation or before us did a lot of that kind of stuff. I think that our military is doing
Yeah.
more
They're
and seeing
exposed.
more
Yeah.
Yeah.
than we have in the past. And so I wonder if that's why the younger on this one some of the younger ones are having a harder time. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, and it's not
Okay.
just the sandbox that's causing
Yeah.
a lot of this. It is the other
Yeah.
things because,
Yeah.
Yeah.
for better or worse, there's a lot of other duties that go along with,
Absolutely.
some of
Absolutely.
the things that we've been involved in. So,
Mhm.
Yeah. But that was the thing, he was deployed 4 times, and that was the deployment that just, has really messed him up, that he's had to really, he struggled with his mental health over it. And
Mhm.
and
and
so
that's one statistic about even police officers.
mhm.
We've gone back and forth with police because police officers are involved in a shooting. Okay,
Yeah.
they get treatment. A lot of
Mhm.
veterans, you don't have that. It's
Yeah.
like
Right.
they do a lot of this, but then there's also the trade-off because it's not necessarily when they unalive somebody, it's the fact that police officers go out and they see this garbage happening in their same neighborhoods. Like this
Yeah.
Mhm.
is right here, in
Yeah.
small town
Right.
USA versus
Mhm.
the military. If they go these are the places in their
Yeah.
mind, it's another world. So you're kind of now
Yeah.
you're here, you're away
You can
from it.
kind of
So yeah, there's a big complexity to that.
mhm. And I wonder about survivor's guilt too,
Yeah.
for
Oh,
the ones that
yeah.
come
I'm
back,
sure.
because
Yeah.
I
And
know
that's
that with my son-in-law, that he said that he knows of so many of his friends died, but they didn't die in combat, they died in helicopter crashes,
Mm.
Yep.
and that he rode in a helicopter every day, twice a day when he
Mm.
was deployed, every time. He rode in one
Mm.
every day, and that, one time they almost crashed, it almost crashed,
Mm.
and, so he thought, "Well, this is here I go,"
Right.
but
It's
then
my turn.
after he got home, he found out that the ones that were in that helicopter with him did end up crashing another time and did all die.
Oh,
And
God.
so that's bothered him too, but more the flooding, but also the
Mhm.
helicopter thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't even imagine pulling bodies out of a flood weeks
Yeah,
after the fact. That's gotta be
yeah.
horrible.
And over there where
Ugh.
it's like desert,
Yeah,
burning hot, yeah,
exactly. Mm.
yeah, absolutely. So anyway, our takeaways from this are, the excess risk for veterans, especially male veterans, is consistent, and they die by suicide at a higher rate than civilian males. And we all know that civilian males die by a crazy, serious, scary rate to begin with. So, young veterans seem especially vulnerable, particularly in the first few years post service. Mental health and substance use diagnoses drive up risks significantly, and firearms are disappropriately used in veteran suicides. Um, yeah, I just it really it scares me. It does anybody, just anybody that thinks about that as an option, as the way out. But our military, these are some of the people that we owe everything to, and we do fail them. And so that's another reason I want, our military wives, our military parents, our military families, friends, whatever. I want them to understand this too, so that
Mm.
they also check in on these guys. There's this whole thing of, oh, you made it home. You're home. Yay.
Yeah.
And we don't know what's still going on in their head. We don't know what they see when they close their eyes, what they smell, what they
Mhm.
taste. We don't know.
Yeah.
And we just have to keep an eye on them.
And
And I
the
don't
thing
mean
is
like, watching them like they're, what I mean. I don't mean like,
yeah, like
but
children, but
yeah, but just kind of watch and check in on them.
Mhm.
So now, where was that other page? Did I lose it somewhere?
Let me see. I think it was this one?
Yeah.
Suicide rates, risk, and disabled men.
Yeah. I'll let you go ahead and check into that one.
Okay. A large CDC study in 2019 found that U.S. adults with disabilities reported suicidal ideation nearly 3 times more often than those without disabilities.
Wow. And disabled men specifically are at an increased risk for both attempts and deaths, and they use more lethal means. That's just so sad. So sad. I don't know why I want to say Canada. Canada. No, not Canada, but how is it I say it every once in a while? It just comes out weird. I don't know. But anyway, in Canada, statistics data show people with activity limitations are almost twice as likely to report suicidal thoughts, with men reporting higher rates than women. It's
All right.
just,
Let's talk about why the risk is higher.
yeah.
Social isolation.
Yeah.
Disabilities can limit mobility, employment, or social opportunities, leading to loneliness.
Mm-hmm.
Men may also avoid support groups due to stigma around vulnerability.
Absolutely.
That's
We
true.
know that's true.
Very true. Economic pressures. Disabled men often face higher unemployment and lower income, which can increase feelings of burden or hopelessness.
Mm-hmm.
Chronic pain and health conditions. Pain conditions and neurological disabilities are linked to higher suicide risk. Studies show chronic pain doubles the risk of suicide attempts, and that's according to the National Institute of Health. Stigma and masculinity norms. Disabled men may feel they are less of a man because of cultural expectations around strength and independence.
Mm-hmm.
This can intensify shame, especially if they need caregiving support. And that goes to
Mm-hmm.
back to what we were saying before, that men have this whole aura around them about being the provider of the family and being the
Mm-hmm.
caregiver and
Absolutely.
the hunter-gatherer mentality, and then access to means. Some disabilities increase access to medications, equipment, or environments that can be used in attempts.
Absolutely.
I mean, if it's there,
Yeah. I mean, because if you honestly are just sitting there and you're looking at something that could
Mhm.
help
Yeah,
with that
absolutely.
situation, I mean, uh, again, we have got to check in on our people. We have got to check in on our people. Men and women both, but
Mm.
we've got to, we have got to keep an eye on some of our men who suffer silently.
You're muted again, John.
I don't know what's going on
Poor
with me,
John.
but every time I go to talk, it shuts me off.
I know.
Is there something on your keyboard? Oh, that's the
No, I keep
Tink-
getting. The
that's the
tincture.
Patty Collins. That's the tincture that Lord Kissfreak talked me into. No, yeah, that's a lie.
Oh, you don't have to explain anything to Patty about that kind of stuff. She knows all about that stuff. And me, and a lot of us have been experimenting with the drops lately. We've graduated from gummies to drops.
Yeah.
This is super hot. This is 9 million Scoville.
Oh, good
Oh,
Lord.
it's a pepper. Yeah.
Okay.
Same thing. It releases those.
Yeah, those
No.
endorphins.
It's just pain. There's no happiness. It's just pain.
Yeah, that's what I'm taking it for, a pain too. I don't need the high.
Yeah.
I don't need the high. I just need my back to stop screaming long enough to sleep at night.
Mhm.
Oh.
So Journey says last year was hard. Teen went into treatment and post treatment, then additional support, and then went into spring of the year. Went into spring of the year. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
Patty just says, no need to explain gummy. Just went in my mouth. See, I stand.
I think that's what
Correct.
B was saying in the mod chat too.
Yeah. Yeah, we talk about gummies quite a bit. Gummies are,
Yeah.
I don't know how I've done without those all my life.
Yeah, I know.
Mm.
I had whenever I was growing up and then, my younger years, even into my 30s and 40s, all my friends have always been potheads. I mean, it's just the fact.
Hmm.
I never smoked weed until about 4 years ago. Never.
Hmm.
And now I'm like, "Why? Why did
Right.
I not?"
Well, and there's such a science to it nowadays. I mean, it
Yeah.
used to be back when it was illegal. I mean, you just buy it from the guy on the
Yeah.
corner, whoever had it. Nowadays, I mean, we go into those dispensaries
Say,
and
"I want it to do this." Yeah.
yeah, I need something for pain. I need something to help me
Mhm.
sleep. I don't want to be stoned all the time.
Yeah.
I need something
Yeah.
that gives me energy. I mean, Susie, I've got a box. I literally have a box. I've got gummies that will help you clean the house. I've got gummies that will help your pain go away. I've got gummies that'll help you sleep. I mean, you name it, and
Uh-huh.
it's awesome. It really is.
Mhm. Well, I have the same thing. The one that helps me focus and one that makes me go to sleep. That's what mine is. I either need to
Mhm.
be awake and focused
Mhm.
or asleep. And that was just a
Exactly.
product of chemo, just because I
Oh
couldn't focus.
yeah.
I was just like, you know, this,
Sure.
like all over the place. And
Well, and
so I was like,
cancer
I need
patient
something for focus. Well,
a
and I
lot of
have the
cancer
pain.
a lot of cancer patients smoke pot because they can't eat. They're so sick
Yeah.
from the chemo, and it will help you,
Yeah.
Well,
want it. It'll help
I
make you
did it
hungry.
because it helped with the pain, and it
Mhm.
helped more than pain medication did, and it wasn't addictive. I wasn't gonna get addicted to the
Right.
pain medication because I knew
Exactly.
that I was gonna be on a year and a half of chemo, and in a year and a half, likelihood of becoming addicted to something's pretty high.
Oh, yeah.
And
Well,
so, this was way easier,
yeah,
way
for me, my thing is I refuse to take opioids. I just will
yeah.
not because I've known too many people that have become addicts,
Mhm.
because of a botched back surgery or this, that, or the
Mhm.
other thing, and it's like, I will look for any natural alternative I can
Yeah.
find, so.
I know my surgeon that I had for many of my surgeries due to breast cancer,
Mhm.
he would after every surgery, he would say, "Do I even need to bother prescribing you pain medicine?" And I'm like, "I still have the bottle you prescribed me 2 or 3 surgeries ago."
Right.
And he
Yeah.
says, "Will you promise to take it if you need it?" And I said, "I usually take 1, maybe 2, and then
Yeah.
I can get once I get past that, then I'm okay and I can, handle it with something else." But every time he'd be like, "Do I
Mhm.
even waste my time? Yeah, even do
Lord
this?"
Lord Kiss Freak's got a good one. Indica equals into couch, turns me into
Mhm.
a vegetable.
That's right.
Yeah, that's the sleepy time one, that's the one I take, but
Yeah, well, the first time I went and bought some, the lady that was selling it to me, she said, "Okay, now listen. When you take this one, you already be where you're gonna lay down and go to sleep. I don't mean that
mhm.
it's like, 'Oh, I'm gonna go to sleep in a little bit,' because you might
Yeah,
find
no.
yourself on the kitchen floor asleep."
Right.
She said, "You go on and get in the bed or on the couch or wherever, and then do it." Oh, you're muted again. Still muted.
It's
I
I
just
wonder what it
yeah.
is.
I take it off mute and it goes right back on, I don't know
I
what the
wonder
hell.
what it
Is
is.
is
It's
there something
probably
in
a
your
glitch.
keyboard?
No, I think it's a StreamYard thing because 'cause I've never had this issue before. I bet you
Yeah.
if I StreamYard, it'll probably work, but
Yeah, it's probably what it is.
who knows?
But, okay, Lord Kiss Freak says, "We've had 2 unalivings in a month and a half in this small town of 2,000 people. Both
Mm,
were men." Oh,
Yikes.
my gosh.
That's
I'm
terrible.
so sorry.
Mhm.
That's awful. That is so sad.
Mhm.
That would be like if we had 2 here where I'm at, because it's about,
um,
what our population is here.
Mhm.
And oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, it is.
Mental health often leads to substance abuse. That combination highly increases the ideation and attempts. Yeah, absolutely. B, you're
Yeah,
right.
sure does. Let me
This
read
is what
this
I
next.
was talking about earlier, where she says, "Let me hesitantly be honest. Parasocial Friends saved my life. Risky saying it out loud as it has been thrown in my face afterwards. Say it out loud. Hashtag say it out loud. Health
Mm.
or hashtag mental health matters. Hashtag better together.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there's so many people out there that have very similar stories, like Susie was saying, and it's just heartbreaking.
Absolutely. It is. He says, absolutely. Susie, I gave all my valuables away at that time and no one caught on. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I know.
So sad.
Lord Kiss Freak says, my friend from work is a vet and he has some awful stories from Afghanistan. Yeah, my son-in-law does too, most of which he won't talk about, but he has a little bit.
Mhm.
I'm not sure what this one is. Last time I got stuck in my chair for 8 hours straight.
I think we're
So he
talking
was
about
talking
gummies.
about, yeah.
Oh, gummies?
Yeah. I think we've
Oh,
all
I'm
had
gonna
that
see
experience at
You
least
know,
once.
I think I'm gonna have to go to Canada and just sit down and watch him take one and see what I think it would be so no matter what kind he took, I think it would be worth the trip to Canada to watch,
Mhm.
whether he just goes to sleep or what he does.
Yeah.
Tony Hoban is here. Good to see you. I'm always so
Tony.
glad when I see people popping in. Yeah, go down through here. Patty, I love Patty. She is
I
so
do too.
sweet.
Pink Lady Patty.
She sends me voice messages and she's always like, "I'm
Mhm.
sorry. I just rattle on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry." And I'm like, "No, send them."
Uh-huh. She's one of my
Whenever I
best friends
feel
in the
like,
world.
like down over something, I'll go back and
Mhm.
re-listen to some she sent me like 2 months ago. Just because
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna laugh. I'm
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
laugh. It don't matter what she says, I laugh about it.
She'll get
Not
silly when
at her, but with her.
she'll get silly when she gummies up and she'll sing to me, and
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
Patty
I can
very,
usually
very
tell
much.
because the words start getting a little slower, you know? I'm like, "Yeah, I think I know what's going on."
Right. As Mayor likes to say, it's pillow clock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where is our dear Mayor tonight? I haven't seen her.
Well,
Is
I
she
don't
down
know where
there?
she's at. She's
Oh,
probably
okay.
over on she might be modding for someone else.
Oh, that could be. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, let's see. I was gonna tell y'all tomorrow night we're gonna have a little show and it's a silly one. But I think every once in a while just a silly show does us well. So tomorrow night we're gonna do something called Start a Cult. And I want everybody to show up and you gotta join in
Mhm.
because we're gonna
This
decide
is
what the name of this cult is gonna be, what the rules of this cult is gonna be, how we live, how we dress, what everything.
Mhm.
And we're just
Yeah.
gonna have fun. I'm trying to come up with some absolutely ridiculous multiple choice answers, and I don't know. I just thought it would be fun and just a silly kind of, just get together. And if we end up just chatting about who knows what, then that's fine too.
That sounds like fun
Get
too.
together and have silly Saturday is what I've been
Mhm.
calling it. We've been kind of having a couple in a row that's just kind of silly.
Mhm.
So, well, I think that's about all we've got tonight. I thank you both so much for being here.